So this is my album of the month for January 2025. This band is Desert Collider out of Cesena, Italy. The name of the album is Generation Ship Endless Drift Through Infinity. So these guys started in 2023 and this album came out in December of 2024. So it didn't quite make my best of list for 2024, but it is my album of the month for January of 2025. Let's get to it. So in the band's own words, they started this band and they were looking for a certain type of sound. And they all came to the conclusion that stoner rock would be the perfect answer for what they were looking for. And they definitely deliver the stoner rock riffs that you would expect. The album has 8 tracks of varying length, from shorter instrumental passages to longer 12-minute kind of odysseys of riffing and stoner rock and kind of space rock and synth, which is a really cool vibe. And this album, according to the band, was influenced by Robert A. Heinlein's Orphans of the Sky. So they take some conceptual ideas from that and weave in their own influences to create something that's very unique. And this band definitely draws inspiration from stoner rock icons Kyuss and Nebula, along with, in their opinion, a fusion of genres of stoner with garage, maybe some post-punk, Karma to Burn, and Buzzcocks. I'm not sure that I hear Buzzcocks in here, but they say they're influenced by it, so that's what it is. The album kicks off with the opening track, which has this kind of hypnotic rhythms and ethereal melodies, and this song really captures this kind of space rock type of vibe and at a runtime of almost 8 minutes, the song has various movements from the beginning, which has a slow kind of psychedelic clean guitar tone and turns into a full heavy guitar assault with the main riff of the song around 1:50. And then at 4 minutes, the song kind of takes a slower, back to this slower passage with synth, then begins a slow burn of the repetitive riff, which is overlaid with distorted vocals, with lead vocalist Federico C. singing in Italian, which is a little bit different for the genre than what you would expect. And it's actually pretty cool. It's really aggressive, and I think it's just something a little bit different. You know, a lot of the vocals are in English, but this certain passage is in Italian. I think it's really cool, something different. And then the song builds to this kind of massive crescendo, then fades out into the void. Orphans of the Sky, Part 2, Disembark. This is a really cool track. It kind of starts off with this kind of rocket ship launch sound, and then into this slow Melvin style stomp. And the drummer Andrea is just hammering his ride cymbal, you know, into oblivion, just really heavy beat and just crashing that ride cymbal. So you kind of get the sense of what that would be, just this heavy riff and just drums just hammering you into submission. Then the band kind of downshifts into a slow, clean, melodic guitar riff with reverb, and the vocals come in, and once again the distortion builds up. And at almost 11 minutes, this track has multiple sections between heavy and slow and psychedelic. And then there's also a slow passage in there with some synth that takes a center stage, probably about 6 minutes in. So they're really packing a lot of, you know, different types of vibes and sound into 11 minutes, which is a pretty long song. But it's really interesting, it's really good. It's heavy at the same time. I think you'll really dig it. And then the closer, Nebuchadnezzar, this is what I would say is headbangers unite. So the album closer wastes no time getting right to the point with the drums coming in first, and then a distorted, heavy driving guitar riff with an aggressive vocal. About halfway through, there's a wah-wah fuzzed out solo, which is played over the riff, the main riff. And then it leads to a slower breakdown with a phaser or a chorus effect on the bass. The bass player is kind of playing this riff over and over with it sounds like a chorus, I'm not sure. It could be phaser, anyway. And then this leads back to the whole band coming back into the main riff and then just blasting it home. So I would say if you like kind of that heavy stoner rock with some space rock elements, there's some synth here. There's a track with some acoustic guitar that's an instrumental. And the final rating is, I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10. It's really good. I think what the band does really well is combine that heavy stoner riffing with kind of the reverb and kind of ethereal space rock type vibes, longer songs. You know, some of these songs come in over 10 minutes. And then with the synth, you get a little bit of more atmospherics. And then again, The lead singer has a passage where he's singing in Italian, which is totally different than what we're typically hearing in the genre, so that's really cool. And then they also have an instrumental that's mostly just guitar. So I think overall it's pretty good release. And if you're interested in listening to this, I did put a link to their Bandcamp in the description on the video. So check that out and buy the music if you like it. This has been Damon D. One World, One Rock.